still the issue of concerning Nnamdi Kanu and the Nigerian government. Everybody is not really happy for what is going on in Nigeria. Time have come for the American, UN, EU, and other global power need to rise up for the helpless poor people living in the country, and for those that do not have any power or any power in the government. Time have come for them to rise up for the people, because if you look very well, the thing that is happening in the country is not suitable to anyone. Is not. So this activist that you are seeing is a very good analyst. He's going to explain to us everything that happens during the Nnamdi Kanu trial and the issue of IPOB and everything that has been going on, and the reason why Omotosho sentenced Nnamdi Kanu. So I would like you to watch the video to the end, because this man really explained a lot of things that touches the heart. He really explained a lot of things that you would like to hear and you would like to listen to, because if you look around what is really happening in the country, the time have come for the US, the European world, the UK, and the other people who claim that they are the watchdog of the world need to come into what is going on in Nigeria. And this issue of forcing people, you must live as one. Nigeria is unnegotiable. Time have come when people need to start asking questions concerning this marriage of a something. When a man and a woman live together and suddenly they are not being capable of doing what they used to do before, it's not time for them to divide and to divorce. Let everybody go separate ways and go and fight for his survival. So that is what is really going on in Nigeria. So as you're about to watch, like, subscribe, and share the video to go around. Let others see things going on in the country.
I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment for the said counts 1, 4, 5, and 6 instead of death sentence. Life is sacred to God.
The fact that many people, for one reason or the other, cannot express their views on what is happening in the country, that is the biggest disaster. But let me tell you something. When the intelligent people, when the wise people decide to keep quiet, the ignorant people will become very loud, uncontrollable, and they will become the philosophers of the day. We will continue our discussions on the case of Nnamdi Kanu, bearing in mind that it's not a discussion about an individual. It's a discussion about a major event that affects our country and affects millions of lives in Nigeria. Nnamdi's case is a very sensitive topic, I'm aware. Many people don't want to talk about it. Because if you criticize him being an Igbo, you'll be accused of being a Sabo or a sellout. If you criticize him not being an Igbo, you'll be accused of being an Igbo hater. As a result, many people keep quiet. But it is the silence that is the problem. The fact that many people, for one reason or the other, cannot express their views on what is happening in the country, that is the biggest disaster. But let me tell you something. When the intelligent people, when the wise people decide to keep quiet, the ignorant people will become very loud, uncontrollable, and they will become the philosophers of the day. That is what has happened in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Not now, it had been that way for a long time. Intelligent people decided to keep calm. They did not want to be accused. And worse still, they did not want to be attacked. But that silence had cost us so much. Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB put together are the worst thing to happen to the Igbos after this war. I know how you will feel about this, those who support him so fanatically, who are willing to kill on his command. You will be offended to hear me tell you that Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB are the worst thing that happened to the Igbos since this war. I know that so many stories have been told how they fought, how ESN fought the Fulani headsmen, how they are fighting and killing their cows and stopping them from doing harm to our farmers. I know about the activities of some herdsmen, how they invaded villages even in my own state, Enugu, how women were raped in their farms, how the killings were occurring. Of course, it is a big disaster that Nigerian government failed to provide protection for the citizens, which, as you know, is the major cause of problems for Nigeria in Washington, D.C. All these things you're hearing about Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern and about the threats of military operations in Nigeria, they all stem from the fact that Nigerian government over the years failed to perform its basic duty in international law to protect its citizens. So it is a grave failure on the part of the state. But that does not in itself justify everything that is called an alternative. IPOB, its method, its language, its structure of leadership, and the confusion it foisted upon the Southeast turned it into a menace. We should not celebrate it, even though we are concerned about the Fulani herdsmen, even though we are concerned about the escalating violence in the southeastern enclave. That does not justify what has happened in the name of IPOB. So when I say this, I want you to take me seriously because I understand the gravity of what I'm saying. IPOB and Nnamdi pose the greatest threat to the Igbos. The harm they caused will take a very long time to repair. It doesn't mean that we should fold our arms and do nothing about herdsmen. We must pressure the government of Nigeria to protect us. If necessary, we should join Washington to encourage Washington to put pressure on Nigerian government. I prefer that America will come and intervene instead of having IPOB in Nigeria or in the Southeast. So we must pursue the diplomatic option. If Nigerian government cannot protect us, we don't necessarily have to create ESN. We must try everything else. And that is why I think, ironically as it sounds, that the pressure from Washington is justified, it is necessary, and probably nothing else could get Nigerian government to wake from its stupor. But having said that, I must now turn to the young Igbo youths. Nnamdi Kanu's IPOB posed the biggest threat. The only thing worse than that is the fact that you believed him. The only thing worse than that is that there are millions of poorly informed people from the Southeast who look up to Nnamdi as a messiah. He is not a messiah. Where he landed today is exactly where he would have been under any circumstance. There was no way he could do all he wanted to do without the repercussions and the consequences we're seeing now. God knows that I do not harbor any ill will towards Nnamdi. Left for me, I wish he could be released and treated. When I mean releasing Nnamdi Kanu, I'm not suggesting you release him and leave him in the street for him to continue his IPOB operations. Now, in the bottom of my heart, with every sincerity, I think Nnamdi belongs to hospital, not prison. But I understand why many people, his supporters, are slow to raise the insanity defense. Because if they admit that he is sick, that will be the end of the El Dorado they created under the guise of IPOB and ESN. But they have to admit the truth. As I explained in a separate post I made yesterday, I said Biafra is an El Dorado. It is something unobtainable. It can be obtained. Insofar as the South are not part of the new country that Nnamdi wants to create, Biafra does not belong to the Igbos. No hill in Igbo land, no river in Igbo land, no forest in Igbo land, Nothing bears the name Biafra. The only Igbo town that starts with a B is Bende. So Biafra is not ours. Biafra is not something we can appropriate. I've explained this elaborately in my other posts. I wouldn't say more now. But I want every Igbo listening to me. Biafra is not ours. Biafra is not Igbo. Anybody telling you that Biafra existed from time immemorial, that is nonsense. Biafra doesn't belong to the Igbos. The only community in Nigeria that can lay claim to that name, if at all, are Yenagoa, Port Harcourt, Uyo, and Calabar people. But they may not even lay claim to that because Biafra was just the name explorers used to describe the inward curve of the coastal shoreline, Atlantic coastal shoreline. There was a curve under the country of Benin, Benin Republic. And probably that was how they called themselves, Benin Republic, the country at the curve of the Bight of Benin. So, if Biafra had been created in 1967, yes, that country would have been a country adjacent or adjoining that inward curve called the Bight of Biafra. Probably that was why Ojukwu chose that name. But the Igbos do not have that coastal shoreline now. It belongs to a different community who are not Igbos and who are very, very vociferous in their resistance, their refusal to join the Biafran experiment. We got to think and think hard. We got to say the truth to ourselves, even if it pains. Thank you.
That particular video, a lot was said about Nnamdi Kanu, and then from the look of things, a lot of people have the opinion that since bandit did worse than that and are doing worse than that, he doesn't deserve that kind of punishment. Now, if you look at what Nnamdi Kanu was actually clamoring for, he was clamoring for Biafra, which of course the judge admitted that is within the right of every group of people or group of people to clamor for self-determination as it is written in international laws and conventions of which Nigeria is a signatory. Therefore, it is within the right of Biafrans to clamor for an independent state of Biafra. Of course, where the problem may seem to lie is that the court probably believes that the writing was not done. But of course, if you look at let me start by that by asking what the writing is. The writing is, according to the judge, was that approach your representative and then talk to them about the need for secession, the need to break away. If you put it into a debate, and then you will now have your way. But of course, another argument that is probably tenable is that a lot of people out there, or a lot of people out there, don't trust their leaders because they may not want to push the Biafra agenda forward, considering the fact that these guys are making good money from the government, and then they feel that remaining in Nigeria is paying them, they're making money from it, and therefore they probably may not want to agree with the commoners, feels that Biafra is the way forward. Now, you have seen the convictions, and at the end of the day, the trial judge convicted Nnamdi Kanu and sentenced him to life imprisonment. What's your take on this matter? What's the way forward? What do you think the Biafrans need to do to chart a new way forward? Could this be the end of Biafra? Do you think there's another approach that should be taken? Do you think that somebody else should stand and then replace Nnamdi Kanu while he's just serving his term? Or do you believe that, well, maybe in the next dispensation, Nnamdi Kanu can be released to his people, and then they set another agenda, or probably, simply put, rather, think political solution is the way. What's the political solution in your own opinion that should be taken? Should the political solution be that now that okay, Nnamdi Kanu is serious and his people are serious about Biafra? They need to do the right. They want to do the right thing this time around, since it is written in the international law and convention that people or group of people have the right to secede or self or to have the self determination. Or you do think the best way is a political solution, not just a political solution, a political solution that will bring equity to the table, where apart from freeing Nnamdi Kanu, there will be justice for the Igbo people within the confine of the Nigerian state? Or you feel the best solution is that Biafra should be declared instantly? Let me know what you feel in the comment section. This is Pulse Media. My name is Larry. I'll see you in another video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe so that you continue to see more of our engagement and conversation happenings within and outside Nigeria. I see you in another video.
Oh yes, this man that claimed that IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu is the worst thing that has ever happened to the Igbo nation is I will say just talking anyhow. I thought that he will bring out his own best solution to solve this issue, and what make Mazdam Kano start agitation of Biafra and the cause of his movement. Because you cannot just wake up and say that so something is the worst thing that has ever happened to a group or to a section of a people. That is not well okay, and not well acceptable. Because if you look at it very well, the issue of Biafra, he claimed that it belonged to the South region. Both the South, according to Nigerian system, according to Nigerian system, which they have South, but there is nothing like West or North. But if you come to Nigerian system, all those things is a way to divide the people, to make the people not to trust themselves and not to accept themselves. So when there was southern region or a eastern region, nothing like South. They call all of them as one people, and they as one nation. So the issue of fighting or agitation is still there. And then the people that he claim that they will not or they don't want to join the Biafran call, you cannot, just like what the leaders of the Igbo is doing today. No any leader, no any political leader that will come out and that will support you to divide the country. Nobody. Because if you come into Nigerian way, Nigerian government, the senators, House of Rep, anyone you call, they are benefiting a lot from the government. Why the poor people they are there suffering? And it is only the poor people that will be saying, look at what they want and look at what they need. And it is from the poor people that you can get the people that will lead or the leader. Because those people that you are seeing that are the leaders that are on top of the power, they cannot do anything. In fact, no matter whatever you do, they will claim that you are just talking on your own until when you start doing something. And people find out that Mazam Kano is the only person that they find out that he say the truth and he give them the real solution and the what they need to be doing so that they will come out from their poverty, from the way the government kept them. So, and if you look around very well, if you will see that the Igbo have been left alone to survive. If you like, you survive. If you don't like, you'll be there. Then the government, they don't even care if Igbo exists or if they do not exist. So all those things is what happens and what prompts this issue of agitation and sliding and backsliding and nepotism, so many things, and not allowing Igbo to be part of the government where they're supposed to be, and all those things is part of it. So, but if you come out and you don't have any solution to what they are doing, and you are still there claiming that this man he did not do it right, come out and they do it right, so that let others who is expecting a savior start looking at you and start following you, and they do the right thing. So that is what is there. Well, my people, I would like to hear your comments down below. Like, subscribe, and share the video to go around. What do you think about these old stories and the whole thing that is happening? And thank you for watching.